What up, y'all? It's your boy Rodimus here, and I'm back with another video. And on today's video, we are going to talk about what they call America's team. Yes, the one and only Dallas Cowboys. Now, do I think they're America's team? Hell no. But many of the delusional Dallas Cowboy fans still to this day say that the Cowboys, yes, owned by one Jerry Jones, are America's team. And I use that in big quotes. But the reason I'm talking about the Cowboys, because we are going to talk about everything that happened with the Dallas Cowboys last year, talk about what's in store or what could be in store for them this year and all that good stuff. The reason I bring the Dallas Cowboys up is because there's a lot of chatter about the Cowboys. You know, every year we have to talk about, again, quote unquote, America's team. And recently, Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Cowboys, said that this year is Super Bowl or bust. Now, we all know, and I was going to ask y'all a question, but we already know the answer to that. Excuse me. We already know that the Dallas Cowboys are not going to win the Super Bowl. The Dallas Cowboys have not won the Super Bowl in 30 years. That's 3 decades, ladies and gentlemen. 3 decades. The Dallas Cowboys have now gone without winning a Super Bowl title. They haven't even sniffed the NFC Championship game. And Dak Prescott, for the 10 years he has been with this team, he's been with this team for a very long time. He hasn't even reached the NFC Championship game. And that is very alarming, to say the least. But, of course, their owner, Jerry Jones, has to speak. He thinks, I saw where he recently said that he doesn't think that it's a reach. They put that in quotes, a reach, for them to be considered Super Bowl contenders. Playoff contenders this year, looking at their schedule, and I'll talk about that in a minute, yes. But Super Bowl contenders, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But besides all of that, man, let's just go ahead and talk about it. I'll talk more about this in a little bit. But let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys 2025 season, shall we? The Dallas Cowboys missed the playoffs for the second year in a row, going 7-9-1. Now, they've missed the playoffs the last 2 years. 2024, they went 7-10. This year, 7-9-1. They got a new head coach and all that type of stuff. So, you know, the Cowboys were okay. They were okay. Mainly what carried the Cowboys is their offense. Their offense was there. The offense was solid. It was the defense that basically stunk up the joint. It was their defense that was their Achilles heel, if you will. And as far as I'm concerned, you know, after they traded Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers, everything basically went downhill from there. So let's just go ahead and talk about it. I did mention Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, going into year 11, he once again has not reached the NFC Championship game since entering the NFL and since becoming the starter for the Dallas Cowboys. Again, alarming, very alarming. But he says this is Super Bowl or bust. Keep that in mind. Let's talk about his stats from last year, shall we? Dak Prescott played a full season, a whole 17 games. His stats were 4,552 yards passing, 30 touchdowns, 10 picks. He completed 67.3% of his passes. He had a 99.5 passer rating. Dak Prescott has played a full season 7 times out of the 10 seasons he's been in the league. 7 times. That's saying a lot. You know, that's pretty impressive. When he's healthy, he can ball. And he played at an MVP level. Let's not take that away from Dak Prescott. Dak played at an MVP level. It's kind of similar to Jaylen Brown in the NBA. He played at an MVP level. Both guys played at an MVP type level. Okay? Like I said, the offense is there for Dak. He's got CeeDee Lamb, Javonte Williams. He's got George Pickens, right? He's got a decent offensive line. So what more can he ask for? Okay, so the question is, and that's basically what the question is going to be for me all season. Can they get over the hump? Like I said, they got the pieces to work with. Dak has his weapons, okay? Williams in the backfield, Lamb, Pickens, he can throw to either person. So I don't see what the problem is. And as far as Javonte Williams is concerned, he's a good running back. You know, he did what he could to help out the Dallas Cowboys as far as offense. He played all 16 games. He had 252 yards. He had 1,201 yards, 11 touchdowns. He averaged nearly 5 yards per game. Nearly 5 yards, 4.8 to be exact. So, hey, the run game is there. I mean, he only missed one game, so he was still in full effect throughout the whole season. CeeDee Lamb, I mean, what more can I say about CeeDee Lamb? What more can I say about George Pickens? He's got his weapons on the sides. He's got some decent tight ends, but CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, how can you go wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? So as far as George Pickens, he played all 17 games. He played a full season. He had 93 receptions, 1,429 yards, 9 touchdowns. As far as CD is concerned, he played 14 games. He only missed 3 last year. 75 receptions, 1,077 yards, just 3 touchdowns. So the offense is to me, that was the real heart and soul of the Dallas Cowboys football team. Minus all the Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones drama and all that type of stuff. The offense is what carried the Dallas Cowboys. Unfortunately, they sat at home like the rest of us and watched the playoffs. So what's in store for the Dallas Cowboys? What are they going to do this year? I'll get to their schedule in just a minute. But let's talk about offense versus defense. Like I said, their defense was horrid. Their defense, like most people said, couldn't even stop a cold. Their defense, I don't know what was going on. I don't care how many people they signed or tried to put on that defensive line. They could not stop nothing to save their lives, okay? Their offense, on the other hand, they were 7th in the NFL as far as offense. Their offense averaged 27.7 points per game. That was 7. That was top 10. They were one of the top tier offenses in the league. As far as their defense, well, not so much. They allowed 30.1 points per game. That was dead last. There are 32 teams in the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys ranked last in that category as far as defense. 30 points per game. That is unacceptable. They say defense wins championships, right? So my question is, where was the defense when Dallas needed them the most? That's my question. As far as the offense is concerned, as we continue, they were 2nd in total yards, while the Dallas defense allowed a grand total, ladies and gentlemen, 511 yards. 511 total points. I'm sorry. The defense allowed 511 total points. That was the worst in the NFL. Again, their defense allowed 30 points per game. Their defense allowed 511 total points. Again, where was the defense when they needed them the most? The defense also allowed 2.87 points per drive. That was their worst since 2010. The worst. Now, looking at the draft, looking at what they've done the offseason, Jerry Jones ain't really talked much. That's a good thing. They did some stuff in the draft, got some pieces as far as the defense is concerned. Of course, bulked up their offense, but mainly the defense is what the problem was. The defense is their problem. As I said before, their defense is their Achilles heel. Okay, so looking at their schedule for this year, again, the question is, are they Super Bowl contenders? Absolutely not. Do I think they're better than the Los Angeles Rams? No, because the Los Angeles Rams are the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Are they better than the Seattle Seahawks? No, because they just won the Super Bowl. Are they better than teams, say, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Yeah. The Philadelphia Eagles? Yeah, maybe. But I don't think so. The Baltimore Ravens? Let's see how things turn out with Lamar and crew. I don't think so. The Chargers? Yeah. So it's some teams out there that they are actually better than if you want to put it in that perspective. Teams like I just mentioned, Seattle, the Rams, teams like that, New England was in the Super Bowl last year. I don't think they're better than them. That's just my personal opinion. I could be wrong. You know, your opinion is very different from mine, but that's just my opinion. Those two top teams there, I don't think they're better than them. But they are on the schedule, so let's talk about it. Dallas starts their season September 13th against the New York Giants. Sunday Night Football. Dallas better win that game. I mean, looking at where the Giants were, it's the New York Giants. What more do I need to say there? They're looking to rebuild. John Harbaugh is the new head coach there. He's looking to rebuild that franchise from the ground up. The New York Giants, we know how bad they were. So I see a win there, okay? Then they play Washington. They're looking to rebuild, another win there. Then they play Baltimore September 27th in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I think they could lose that game. Now, to me, on the other hand, that game could go either way, but I'm going to go with Baltimore in that one. Then they play at Houston October 4th. I think they can win that one. Thursday Night Football, 4 days later on the 8th against Tampa Bay at home. I think they'll win that one. At Green Bay on the 18th. That's going to be Sunday Night Football. I think they'll lose that one. Would I be surprised if Dallas won that one? No. But in my personal opinion, I'm going to go Green Bay. Then 8 days later, Monday Night Football, they're at Philadelphia. I think they'll lose one. So that's back-to-back losses there. On the 11th of November, the 1st of November, November 1st, they play at home against the Arizona Cardinals, win. At Indianapolis, win. Versus San Francisco, win. November 22nd, versus the Tennessee Titans, another team who's looking to rebuild, if you will. That's an easy win. That's an easy win. There is no reason why the Dallas Cowboys should lose against the Tennessee Titans on November 22nd. Then on the 26th, Thanksgiving Day, they play at home against the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they'll split that. I can see them splitting that. So I think those games with Philly could go either way. But I'm going to say they lose the first one, win the second one on Thanksgiving. And then at Seattle, December 7th. Now, that's going to be a tough one. You know, they got a pretty tough schedule. Don't get me wrong. Dallas overall has a pretty tough schedule. But I'm going to say they lose that one. And that's going to be a Monday night game on ESPN, December 7th. So mark your calendar on that one. Week 14, they have a bye week. So they're going to be well rested, fresh, ready to go for the next game. So looking at the schedule, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think Dallas goes 9-4 heading into the bye week. I think they're 9-4. Week 15, December 20th at the Rams. I think they're going to lose that game. Like I said, the Rams are the favorites. We already know the Rams are the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Matt Stafford and crew looking to make some noise, some big noise, if you will. Not saying Dallas won't. Not saying Dallas will go in there and lay down, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it. So I think the Cowboys will lose that game. So that'll be their 5th loss after the bye week. And then the next 3, Sunday Night Football, December 27th versus Jacksonville, at home, January 3rd against the Giants, and January 10th at the Washington Commanders. I think they'll win the last 3 games. Overall, I think the Dallas Cowboys will go 12-5. I'm going to say a modest 12-5. Playoff contender, yes. But as far as the Super Bowl, I don't see it happening. I don't see them being in the Super Bowl come Valentine's Day 2027. But then again, who knows? We shall see. What will the Dallas Cowboys season look like? Like I said, I personally think they'll go 12-5. What say you? What do you think they'll be going into the season? How do you think everything will look? Will the defense be better? I hope so, because my God, looking at the defense for the Dallas Cowboys was putrid. That's the one word I can use, putrid. But hopefully they can improve on some things and the defense can play lights out and Probably surprise a lot of people. But then again, who knows? But other than that, man, y'all let me know in the comments. As usual, like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know how you feel about everything as far as the Dallas Cowboys and the 2026 season is concerned. And with all that being said, this has been my point of view. My name is Rodimus. I'll see you guys next time.